Welcome. It is time to game. Today, another battle report commentary. This time it is round 3 of the Evergreen Open. And in this game, it is Shelly, who you've seen a few of her games on the channel, against Logan, who's a newer player that committed to coming down from Vancouver to the Evergreen Open and realized that it was a premier format that required 4 squads and went all in, grabbed another squad in order to meet that requirement. So that's great to see. I played him for my round 1 game, and we were able to kind of clear up some of the core rules for him there. One of the main ones, and one that I've seen a few times with newer players, is that they assume that the active abilities cost an action because you only get 2 actions, but that is not the case. You pay a force for those active abilities, and it gives you something extra that you can do on top of your 2 actions. So that's a major thing that kind of holds people back. And then you may be thinking, why am I spending a force for a jump if um, it's less than I can get with a move action, and stuff like that. But no, that's on top of your 2 actions, unless of course it is something that says action in the ability. For example, on Shelly's side of things, the stormtroopers have For the Empire, which costs a force and an action, and but it's an ability that gives one of your supports a push. You can push an enemy within 2 away from the allied character, but then they also become exposed. So it's kind of rare for a support unit to have a kind of diceless displacement ability. So for them, it costs an action. So since we're on Shelly's list, Shelly is running Darth Vader Emperor's Servant with his stormtroopers, as well as Moff Gideon and Death Trooper Escort Dark Troopers, so the 2 boxes as is. And they'll be bringing 6 force, but of course Darth Vader has a refresh on as a tactic. Then on Logan's side, we have Anakin Skywalker and Luminara Unduli as the primaries, so he'll be bringing 7 force, and so he's put Barriss with Anakin, probably thinking she's a little more force hungry, and so needs the extra force that he brings. 501st are probably the only 3-point supports that he has available to him, and then he's put Kenobi's the rest of Kenobi's squad under Luminara, so Clone Commander Cody and the 212th. I think he had the more typical squad of Obi-Wan, Rex, and Commandos as one squad. So that's where we're seeing maybe some of the leftovers in this squad here. So Logan is on the right, Shelly is on the left, and it looks like Shelly got priority, and they'll be playing on Sabotage Showdown. So we also found that his deployment wasn't quite optimal in our game, so let him have the option to kind of move things around once we realized that he hadn't actually put his stuff contesting the back points. So looks like he's got a more typical deployment look now. Shelly's drawn the Shatterpoint, but it's looking like she might be getting ready to shuffle that back in. Yeah, we're picking next card, which is the Stormtroopers. So they have assault tactics, which a lot of the Empire secondaries and supports have, where they get a dash and then can suffer 8 damage to also do a focus action. Ladder maybe got moved around on that bottom tree there. Shelly's making sure she's within range of her back objectives before she starts moving. Realizing that they're probably not going to be in range to shoot anybody, so not going to spend probably not going to spend the force on the assault tactics. She might be able to get in range of that ingress point if she did the take cover action first. But they're both going to do their advance. And so she is going to take the dash. Assault tactics dash in order to, I think, get to that ingress point and get that bottom middle point. What's going to pop up there? Taking the ingress point. Right, they took a damage for their. Well, they don't have to take the damage because they don't need the focus. Just seeing if they're in range to shoot anyone. Yeah, they're going to do the take cover. So yeah, because she doesn't need the focus action, she can actually just not take that damage. So that'll be, I assume, 3 points under Shelly's control. So that's it. It's also a new rule for Logan, seeing that if you kind of want to reserve the Shatterpoint, then you set it aside, pick a different card, and then shuffle it back in instead of actually reserving it the way you would with the other unit cards. So Logan is going to pick the Luminara. Realizing that she's not in range of that back point because she moved the stormtroopers away. It's taking her dash and to an ingress point at the back there. She's going to do an advance. So you're going to be engaged. Checking to see, wants to be in range of that back point, but seeing if he's engaged with the stormtroopers to maybe do an attack. And it looks like she's in Form 3 Saresu. Though the other side's a little more damage heavy. But sticking with the Saresu side, Yeah, I mean, there's can get 6 damage out of this potentially. Crits there. 2 crits going through. It can do 3 damage and pin. So Logan's going to get 2 on that turn. Shelly gets the Shatterpoint again. Like she's going to Shatterpoint the Stormtroopers, recover to take off pin and a damage. So doing the active ability for the to take a damage for the focus. Gonna move back with the dash before the attack. Make sure they're outside of melee range so that they can do a ranged attack with sharpshooter. So then they'll get 7 dice. So Luminara's expertise will give her 2 blocks, crit to hit, hit to fail. She's got 1 crit left to go through for a damage. Then one will attack. It's like the same roll basically. Defense. So expertise for Shelly will do a pin. So just that pin going through. So Shelly will just take 2 points back, and they'll both gain momentum. Anakin being picked next. He doesn't really have a target to attack yet. Taking a move action, making sure he's under that back objective. I'm not actually sure. Okay, so it looks like he didn't have control of that in the first turn, so he only got 1 point. Chili got 2, so it'd be there and no momentum. So looks like this map was a little bit awkward to deploy on because they both kind of ended up missing one of their back points control wise. So Anakin just taking a hunker, make sure he gets that back point. Might have been able to hunker and jump forward. That way he's at least pressuring a middle point instead of the back point. Could leave the back point for maybe one of his supports. Both of them are kind of trying to establish their back line. So it looks like Death Trooper escort is going next, giving dashes to the dark troopers, and then gonna take an advance himself to get to that ladder. We're gonna do the tactical advance, get a dash and focus. It's like we're getting ready to shoot at Anakin, who has deflect. Looks like he's in Form 5 Jimso, so he'll be getting 5 dice on defense. Slightly worse expertise. Death Trooper will have 9 dice for this attack. Oh yes, 6 dice, because that hunker for Anakin on defense. Bring deflect there, because Shelly did roll fails on the attack roll. So 4 getting through for the Death Trooper escort. Doesn't really need the shoves. So I assume she'll take the top for 6 damage, strain, and expose. Yep. So now Shelly's got 3 points. No, Logan would have gotten 2, and then Shelly back 3. So we're sitting there. Logan's drawing the Shatterpoint now. Probably a good time to bring out Anakin, although he's not going to like that strain very much. Use the Shatterpoint on Anakin, so he'll lose his hunker. Move to the ladder and take that ingress point up. Let's see if Anakin can cut through this Death Trooper. He's got 7 health and protection left. So just needs 4 steps. So cutting 3 crits through, which would be 7 damage and strain. So just one step short there, unfortunately. is going to do, I'm going to end this to make another attack on the same character. Should easily get that last damage through, even with the protection. Seeing crits there. So yeah, that would have been the one shot. But had to spend the extra force there. Got the wound. So I'll get a momentum. Gonna do the pin. Strain again, but that'll just be damage, which it doesn't need. This is a secondary, so move the struggle token one space towards your momentum. So move some there. And then he will be sitting with 3 points. That'll take him to 2 on his side. Sergeant is going next. He could have the Dark Troopers both advance, and that would flip the point that Anakin is on. But I think she said that she doesn't want to have them separate the damage, so choosing not to use the tactic ability. But Dark Troopers are pretty beefy, 8 with protection, so they could definitely handle having the 1 damage on them, and then she could be using Stormtrooper Escort, or Sergeant, I mean, to get her other back point, and then be getting 4 points at the end of this instead of just 3, or it might even be 2 if Stormtrooper Sergeant isn't able to push Anakin off of this point. Because that would push on 2, but we'll see what happens. So he's in melee range with Anakin, so just going to be the 5 dice on this attack. Oh, going to use coordinated offensive because Death Trooper Escort is a Stormtrooper within range 5 of Anakin. So going to get an extra die on this. Just the 1 damage from the expertise going through. Although Anakin was exposed there, I think he used his expertise. So it might have been a missed condition on that. Because he was talking about crits to hits, which would have come from the expertise. So yeah, just the 2 points she's getting there. So that will give them both a momentum. We're landing on 0. 501st pick next for Logan. So they're going to pop up. One of them's going to pop up to that ingress point, or to the proper elevation for that objective. And it looks like they'll be looking to take some shots into the Stormtrooper Sergeant. Hits, I think he said. Shelly's blocking 2, so that'll be a full 3. crack for 5 damage, pin, strain, and gets a reposition. I think that was the back one though, so he probably wants to leave that one up on his back objective. Oh, unless I guess he shot with the other one. So we're gonna reposition over to that ingress point. Maybe just out of range to pop up. The other one's going to attack. Four through. Now the pin and strain will both become damage, so that would do another 5 damage, which I think will get the wounds there. Yeah, 9 health. Did 10 damage between those two attacks. That'll get him another momentum. Some lucky rolls with those 5 out first. So Luminara gets to give out a dash because an enemy unit has become wounded. So giving, who is that down there? Either a 212th or Cody a dash. So that will be 3 points for Logan. So that objective on the top middle is tied. Dark Troopers are going next, so they'll definitely be able to outbody that point from Anakin. She's looking at her other back point. She still doesn't have control of it, which has definitely had an effect on this match, I think. Okay, so they are going to jump into melee range. The other way, the other guy's going to jump to the other back objective. So they do have a shove on 1, so could maybe be shoving Anakin off in order to get that point. Freed up the action for so that she can do a focus. That she's not going to be in range to shoot anyone with that other Dark Trooper. So just a melee attack into Anakin. And needs to do 5 damage. She is exposed. Pinned, and I guess the strain is still there. Unless she did the coordinated fire strain when Stormtrooper Sergeant attacked. Ooh. 3 expertise lost for that exposed, so just 1 block. Four through. So between, so yeah, could get the 5 damage. straight up with pin, adding another damage, and then strain as well. Thinking about the jump and disarm instead, because he's already strained. So getting the wound on Anakin. She should have got an extra die from Moff Gideon because it was a melee attack on an active objective that she doesn't control. But anyway, she will get her 4 points. So trying to pull it back here. Logan has already had his 2 primaries go, so it might be a little difficult for him to pull it back for this struggle, but we'll see. He's pulling the 2/12 now, and depending on Ingress's points, may be able to pop up and put bodies on that bottom center objective, but the stormtroopers are still there, although Luminara did a decent amount of damage to them, so maybe get the wound and be standing underneath to get that point. Taking their move action. Oh, the other one is forward already. It's the one he dashed with Luminara's ability. So popping them up to the proper elevation. So unfortunately can't be not engaged with the stormtroopers while still being in contesting range of the objective. Trying to get out of engagement. But yeah, not going to work, so just going to make sure he's on the objective and take a swing. They are in range of Cody for his rerolls. Yeah, only rolling 1 hit, I think, on that melee attack. So hopefully the second one can get some damage through. Does need to get, I think, a full tree in order to get the wound here, though. Missing the rerolls from Cody, unfortunately. So it looks like I don't think any damage, anything getting through on that. Which would just gives him the 2 points there. Moff Gideon going next. He can give a character, Galactic Empire character within 4, which Vader is within 4, so he can give Vader a dash as well as himself. Using the dash for Gideon off of his tactic. He does operate like Dooku, where it's the character, the chosen character, and himself. But looking to maybe do a move action just in range to get an attack off, although Anakin is already wounded. 501st are the closest to him. I think he has only a range 4. Yeah, range 4 again, so probably not. Oh, okay, now we're getting the dash there. Okay. Then we're going to do the move action. Oh, moving across. Take that ingress point up. And maybe see if we're in range of Luminara for the attack there. Oh, 212th is another option. They would be within 4 for sure. If the Dark Trooper is within range 5 for that coordinated fire strain. Looks like he is. Self-interest side. Let's see. If he takes a top track, he can do 6-7 damage. So he'd have to full tree though. So the pin comes from the expertise. Five crits. Oh boy. So gonna get the full tree on that. Top for 7 damage, disarm and expose. Wound there. The Luminara can get her heals off. Probably on herself. Get rid of that damage, but might be missing that trigger there. Shelly's getting 4 points though. So Cody's gonna go next. I should be within 5 of the stormtroopers probably to give them an expose from his tactic. Cody moving forward. Take a shot into the stormtroopers, trying to finish them off. Not sure how much health they have left. Three crits through. And a automatic damage. So we have 12-5 and a pin. If he does the shove, he can do a follow-up to maybe get in range the objective to flip it as well. Which will give a dash from Luminara's Floor of the Force. So if he might be able to take that himself and You get the ingress up. Yeah. Oops. There's that bridge again. And so that will flip that point. Three. Gain a momentum each for hitting 0. But now Shelly can get 1 back for the 4 points. Then she will take the struggle. And next it is Darth Vader. So that is probably doable for him. Probably walk up and chop Cody. So she gets refresh 1 force, can remove 2 damage or a condition, but has neither so far. Gives you anger, hate, and aggression to get the dash to that ingress point, and add 3 dice to the attack roll. Try to see how far into the board she can get. But neither of his back points are really able to be stolen easily, because they both have a person on them at the proper elevation, and it'll be hard for him to get to the proper elevation while also moving that far into the board. Potential of a thrown lightsaber, I think. But really, I think if she wants to flip the point, she could just get engaged with Cody and do Form 5 Shen in order to shove him off if she's worried about not being able to wound him. Though he's got 9 health. Yeah, she'd need 5 steps on Gemso in order to get the wound. Might be going after Luminara, though, actually. Okay, so we're going to be doing the Gemso melee attack into Luminara, trying to go for that wound. She does have 8 health in left out of 9. But much better expertise, though, so I don't know. We'll see if this pans out for her or not. It was 4 blocks and crit to fail, basically. But he still got his full tree. So that'll be a wounded Luminara. 10 damage, strain, and jump and shove. The jump technically happens first, actually, so could jump over her and then push her the other way. Not that it matters too much with her wounded. So you will steal that back point for the 4 points, although with the wound only needs the 3 points. So that will be struggle 1 for Shelly. All right, so we're on to struggle 2. Logan has picked where the block is on his back bottom point. That's also priority. Vader just took that one from Lumi, but the other ones are where Anakin is, and then the fail is currently not contested. Barris will be going next, being the last draw, and she is able to ingress up over to where Vader is, and can hopefully shove him off of that point. Anakin is wounded, so he won't be getting that point, unfortunately. The expertise and the fail is still empty, but otherwise, he would have had the spot where the 501st is, but then the Moff Gideon would have been on the other one, and I think the stormtroopers are still or no, stormtroopers were wounded. But I think I think Cody might have been on that bottom center point, kind of bottom middle point. So that might have been an option there, unless it's not an exact mirror. Yeah, it would have been that exact mirror. So he might have been able to go with the other one and had a 501st on one, Cody on the other, and started off with 2 in his control, even though that would have given Moff Gideon the one on the back. But he is going to do with Barris, he's going to do the force speed and then force push to get Vader off of that priority objective. So that'll work to get him the 2 points there. And yes, that is a range 3 push. The Shatterpoint tactic on this struggle will be regroup, so remove 2 damage or a condition from the unit that use Shatterpoint. And then just going to take a hunker action rather than, it doesn't want to do the melee attack and risk having 3 damage back on him, or back on Barris with her low health there. Because, yeah, or unwise to lower your defenses. So she would have to pay 1, but if he rolls a fail, she takes 3 damage. So doesn't look like a good idea for Barris there, but he will get 2 points. So next it's going to be Dark Troopers for Shelly. And well, they're getting her that expertise. She does need to send someone back for that fail, which is the priority objective for her. Which one is kind of in the wrong spot there by Moff Gideon. Just measuring to see how far he can get. Definitely get in range there. I think, yeah, Death Trooper's wounded. Stormtrooper Sergeant is not, I think. But if he's not in contesting range, then yeah, Dark Trooper can't walk away because I think the 501st on the ground might be in range to get that point. So she could attack the 501st. Seeing if the jump will get her in contesting range of that back point. Focus and take a shot first. So the one is in range of Cody, the other in the range of 501st. So 7 dice for this. Could even get a jump off the attack. Not have to spend for the active ability. Getting 2 through on this attack. Probably just, yeah, 3 damage and a pin. No reason to shove since it's an inactive point. The other one's going to attack the 501st. She could attack the closer one, but doesn't really matter. I mean, could get shoved in out of range as well. Getting through on that attack. So spinning one for the jump. Get in range of that back point, so that'll get her 3 points. So expertise will be the party for Logan. So 2 against 0 currently on that spot, so then he pulls the 2/12th. We're nowhere near there. So I'm going to spend one for reserve. Oh, right. So he's going to have to spend 2 to put them in reserve because of Moff Gideon. Is assume I know everything. So he's not sure if he wants to do that now or not. Oh, Stormtrooper Sergeant is dead. So I guess it's just 1 on 0 there. That's why she couldn't move that Dark Trooper. So if she could get 501st, they could potentially flip that point with 2 bodies. But spending 2 force for that potential different activation there. So I think he's going to stick with the 2/12 just to not deal with the force economy problems. Try to do some shots. Maybe go for a wound on Moff Gideon. So that'll be a focus, I think, and attack. So damage through with the expertise. So getting 3 damage, pin, and a shove through. And I think he's going to do the... oh, they were wounded, so he's remembering to remove a condition when they become injured instead of wounded. Only going to get 1 point off of that, so that'll give them both the momentum. Moff Gideon is pulled next. Priority is going to be the fail, which she already has. Yeah, if Moff Gideon can get to that back point, the point that Barris is on, he will break the tie. So this could be a 4-point turn for Shelly if she can get him there, though. Don't know that Cody is not wounded, so yeah, it might be difficult for him to dash, and the advance would be shortened to a dash if he stays at the proper elevation. But maybe if he dashes, takes cover, he can climb. If he dashes down to the ground level, he might be able to climb and get in range of that block objective. Seems to be looking at a potential wound. So looking at Cody, who has 6 health left, and Barris having full health with 8 and a hunker. Hopefully she remembers the dash off of that tactic ability. The advance gets her pretty far there. Yeah, if she remembered the dash and stayed just out of engagement with Cody, then she could probably get in a better spot to take cover and get there. What's he got on his tree? Yeah, the reposition's pretty late, unfortunately. So the take cover is technically a one inch push, which means that you imagine the base moving along that path, and if it bumps into anything, then it would stop. So technically can't hopscotch over Luminara there, but she also forgot the dash, so we're going to count it, and so she will get 4 points on that. And that is now the priority for Logan. And it's Barris. So that's good timing there. Now, of course, easiest would be move a little bit to do that force push, but she also has quite easy access to shoves on her tree. So if she just moves a little bit to get the angle right, well, she could even focus and do the attack and just reposition first off the attack to get the angle to shove him off of that. Oh, and he is also engaged with a Jedi primary, so that means that she gets 2 extra dice. Might get the free force push off of this, possibly. Just getting 2 through. But she could do the reposition and shove. There we go. And 3 damage as well. Considering the force push on Vader to really send him into the corner. Yeah, okay. Take him pretty well out of that game, basically. And so that will get him 2 points. Get the momentum for it being on Shelly's side still. Oops. Death Trooper Escort is going next, and he can give out dashes or repositions to Galactic Empire supporting unit or himself. The stormtroopers are wounded though currently, I think, so can't use them to get that point that Barris just flipped. Wonder if he could get there though. He'd have to shove Barris off and out of range. So probably not doable unless he can reposition up. Might be want to consider reserving him. Wait till the stormtroopers are injured instead of wounded, and then give him. Yeah, there you go. Yep, she's putting them into reserve. See who's next, and it's Vader. So now he has to see if he can get back in range to do something. So refresh 1 gets to remove a condition. Gonna advance. Spend 1 to dash. She's going for the ingress point, but I'm not sure if she's gonna make it. No, still short there. So I'm gonna have to throw the lightsaber. See if she can get some shoves to get Barriss out of contesting range. The reposition would also help her get up there if she can get spots off of 8 dice, because she did the anger, hate, and aggression. She's going to throw at the 212th instead, I think. Oh, she's getting 4 through. Get 6, 7 damage. That might be 1 shot. Yeah, because that was the 212, so that'll be a 1 shot on them for the wound. Pin, disarm, 2 shoves. So forgot the damage off the expertise, which would have wounded, but not counting that. So that'll be 1 away. She gets 2 points, not the priority. And then the priority is going to be the expertise again for Logan. And he's pulled Cody. So Cody doesn't really have any targets for his tactic or to really effectively flip anything. He's also pinned. Unfortunate that he's getting the people in his squad that are kind of at the bottom instead of the squad on Anakin's side, because he really doesn't have anything for them to do other than throw some damage into people. And the reserve tax is doing its job, making him keep these not ideal activations. So focus and attack for 9 dice on Moff Gideon. So getting 2 steps and a damage from the expertise for 4 damage and pin. That'll get a wound, which will also give someone a dash from Luminara. So if you can, I think the 501st are not wounded, so they can still, they could contest that priority objective to tie it at least. Oh yeah, Vader didn't get the wound, so he gets shuffled back into the order deck. One point on that. And another momentum for it being on Shelly's side. Shelly gets Stormtrooper Sergeant. And so he will wake up. Priority is going to stay on the expertise. So that's good for her. He can give out a advance to the supporting unit, so might be good to give the advance to those stormtroopers. I mean, it'd be down to a dash, but then they're at least closer to that objective that Barris is on for whenever they do wake up. But looking, I think, to just focus and attack the 501st. Could pay one for one more die off of coordinated offensive with the Death Trooper there. Getting to force to add a condition. I think a pin onto the 501st. See if that helps get enough damage to wound him. Melee attack. The Dark Troopers are going to do coordinate fire stream. She's missing. She's going to add the dice for coordinated offensive, but that'll cost 1. Not sure if she's paying for that one. So one's going to get through for damage and a heal. condition. So no wound. I've got the 3 points. So 1 away from the win for this struggle and the game. Priority is the fail, so pretty much needs Anakin to get that priority objective. But he's all conditioned up as well. It's Luminara, so that is also not going to do it. Literally everyone, picking everyone that's on the wrong side of the board. So really reserving in any of those previous ones would not have really helped much, because it just getting everybody on that side. There's a possibility that she could move, attack Moff Gideon, and hope to get that reposition, and then if he needs it, do a dash. Do the dash from sprint, which would cost 2. But okay, I think we're doing an advance instead of a dash there. But that would be a possibility to get him to that back point. But then he still would only tie it. So doing the 2 advances is getting him to that point to probably do an attack on the Dark Troopers. But Luminara's not, I don't think she even can get the wound on them. So we got 8. They've got 8 with protection, so needs to do 9 damage, but only has 8. Even with a coordinated fire strain, that's not going to help. Sounds like he did get a full tree, though. So, unfortunately, 8. But with protection, that'll go down to 7. Yeah, and he's pretty wedged into that tree, so no way to really shove him off at that point, unfortunately. Well, unless he does the reposition first. Well, yeah, he's still gonna crash into all the roots of those trees, so. Oh, yeah. Gonna do precise strike. So after a combat action, sporting unit within 3. I'm not sure if they're within 3, but if they are in the order deck, they can do a dash. If they're not, then they can do 5 dice attack. So we're gonna do the 5 dice attack, even though I think they're in the deck. But hopefully this will get the 1 damage that they need to wound the Dark Trooper there. Maybe realized that wasn't gonna work. Gets 1 point momentum, and Shelly just got the Shatterpoint, so the priority is on the back point, so she'll get 3, and basically should win this no matter what, but she might be looking to get a wound. Gonna go with Vader. Makes sense. Run up and try to one-shot Barriss, which is very much possible. 8 health. He's gonna get his extra dice from the dash. So 11 dice needs, well, technically needs all 5 steps there to get from 7 to 10 damage to do that 8 for Barriss there. So getting 7 successes, that'll be a full tree and a wound on Barriss. And so that'll be a win for Shelly there, get all 4 points, and the struggle. So I think the struggle choice there probably had an effect, the layout, because on top of the fact that he could have had 2 in his control with the 501st and Cody, also there just wasn't anyone on the side of the board where those 2 objectives were. Anakin and the 501st were there, but Anakin's wounded. Shatterpoint's gone, and he literally drew everyone else, unfortunately. Because he got 4 through the deck, all 4 of the units being not on that side. Got the dash for the 501st, but that only tied the expertise point. Whereas looking at the board state, Vader came across to that back point, but it was Vader, Gideon, and a Dark Trooper who were not wounded on that side of the board, and whereas he had Barriss, Cody, and then at least Luminara and the 212th, once they woke up, they would be able to help contest those points. So might have gone differently if we picked the other layout there. And I think also seeing how Cody doesn't really have the flexibility to do much if he's not already kind of sitting in range of somebody who is also pinned. But there was no way he was going to be going across the board to contest any of those points. Barriss, who had the best chance of crossing the board, was kind of stuck on the back point, being the last draw for his first time through the deck. So some unfortunate order deck things happening for sure in that match. But the Empire was victorious in that. And so next video would be the round 4, so last round of Swiss, and then we'll get on to the top 8 and top 4 games. So subscribe, and it'll let you know when I get those up.